It can be difficult for us to have earnest conversations with one another. We're asked to take polarizing stances on issues that are oftentimes difficult to grasp in scope, and as a result, we may end up divided or isolate ourselves from each other to preserve our own values. A few individuals among us have come together to change the rhetoric. We believe in honesty, sincerity, and vulnerability. Under the banner of soothing music, we take this time to give you the Low Stakes Lo-Fi podcast. That was my best reading yet, you guys. And, like, there's a shit, like, I changed it again and there's shitty typos.
That
Wow.
felt
That's wonderful.
very,
That was great.
Radio host-esque.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the solid take I'm gonna use every time now, because I'm never gonna do better than that.
That one felt good.
Beautiful, I'm glad. Okay.
Books.
Okay. Man, how do we start these again? I guess since this is our like first official one back on the wagon for sure, for real. Let's do just like a quick introductory around like where we are in our lives right now. Like, who are we? And what are we sending out here in the world?
Yeah. Man.
Take it away.
Okay,
Erica doesn't want to introduce herself.
I'm
That's a
Bears.
cool request.
I'm Bears, and I do
so much.
video game stuff, and this is our podcast. Hello.
Beautiful.
I'm Liana. I also kind of do video game stuff and hang out with bears every day. Yes. Hello, this is me.
Yes.
Hi.
Erica, and I do art stuff. Sometimes.
I am Autumn, and honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. But, you know, we're just figuring it out. It's all good. Taking it as it comes.
Wow, don't we sure sound like some people who have like great opinions on society? You're really privileged to be listening to us. Okay, here we go. So I've been thinking about like we all down to clown with like Greek and Norse mythology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, always interested.
Okay, yeah. Like, I'm super down to clown for a little Greek and Norse mythology. Like, most of the mythologies, honestly. Like, Japanese, Incan, like, all that good shit. But...
Yeah.
We need a contemporary... I feel like we need a contemporary pantheon to spice things up, because I just want one. Like, it must have been so cool to live in, like, a world where, like, you could say, like, oh, Zeus is up there getting his party on, and like Athena's getting drunk, and like, you know, these things you could just like say like, oh yeah, our gods are just like getting on down, and you could tell people all about them and what they do. So I'm like, well, we need some contemporary gods. We need a contemporary pantheon. What are some gods of particular aspects of life today that we could use in your guys' opinion?
To me, trees. Like, trees are just all knowing. They have been here longer than a lot of us have, and I feel like we can find out a lot about our environments and the way they're able to survive, and how we can find our way to survive as well.
That is
Adorable.
Yeah, that is so much
Love it.
more holistic and like good than anything I was expecting or could come up with, honestly. Like,
My first thought was like capitalism.
Oh no!
you just need a god of capitalism.
Like, fucking the capitalist god is fucking us over again. Typical.
I mean, it's true.
Good old American
freaking
Zeus.
typical.
Capitalism. Crabs go in.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Comes out.
I was like thinking along the lines of like, I want God. I want a God of like little moments, like finding your phone inside your pocket after you have that like micro panic. Like, oh God, it's right there in my pocket. Like there used to be a God of that who I can just throw up some love to, you know?
Mm.
Like those
Yeah.
little moments of uncertainty, and then once you find your phone in your pocket, everything just feels in
Well,
place.
just like that, yes, but also like just like little pleasures. I think like, okay, here's something I know is weird, but I really love it. Is when I can
I
take.
love that opener.
Real quick, just strap in. I know this is weird, but here, listen to me, hear me out. I love when I can take out a new sponge for my dishes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
yes.
Yeah, you guys
Oh
see what
my
I'm saying?
God.
Like, I love having
Yes.
a fresh, clean sponge. I'm like, yeah, you haven't been through all this garbage. You're like fresh on the scene. My dish is about to get the
Good,
good
fresh
clean.
and pure.
Yeah. So like, I could use a God of just like the small pleasures, like little reliefs and small pleasures.
It's like rewarding just maintaining what you have.
Yes, yes. Can we have the like small maintenance God, please?
Small maintenance.
Yes.
Can we have a cooler name, please?
This is the
Sounds
God
like a
of.
janitor.
This is the
Like,
God of Windexing your windows, and they're like perfectly clear, and like it looks so clear that like a dog will run in, smack right into it because of how clean that shit is. Or like
I think Windex is a good name.
Windex, the God of small maintenance.
aw.
But
Dex
that's
for short.
But that's a brand name.
Oh, Dex.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I know
Dex.
him. Like I feel like.
You feel like you already
Yeah.
feel like Dex is in your life, right?
I do. He is.
Yes.
I'm writing that fucking down. That's important, you know.
Dex, the God of small maintenance.
Dex, the small maintenance god.
Small
Yes.
maintenance God. I love this. Dex is just there to
Horrible.
give you a little pat on the shoulder anytime you did like just a thing that didn't necessarily like need to be done right now, but you did it just because it feels good to get it out of the way, and like once it's done, you just feel so good about yourself. That's Dex, baby. That's Dex on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Damn.
He did that for you.
Yes.
And you earned it. Yeah.
But also small reliefs, finding your keys.
Yes.
Dex.
Yeah.
Little maintenance and small reliefs.
It's like those little moments where you're like, I was careless and I made a mistake, but it's like, okay, you can
Yeah.
have this one.
Yeah.
Totally.
So glad we got Dex. I feel like Dex does need a buddy though. We need like another god or goddess up in this pantheon.
Yeah. Trying to think.
It's almost like antagonist to Dex, and I didn't even mean to make it this way, but like the god or goddess of like just assholes. Like people who park just wrong. Or like
Just wrong.
yeah, like people who cut in line, people who or even like not even just someone who's like an asshole on purpose, but like people who like wear their mask but leave like their nose out. It's like, what are you doing?
Or that take off their mask when they talk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or take it off to sneeze. It's like, do you excuse me?
Like,
Excuse me. I don't know that you and I can be on the same planet right now. Like, one of us has to go. We can't
chaotic
coexist.
evil.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I want to know, like, what do you do if you have to sneeze? Because, like,
You sneeze in your
You don't
mask.
wanna get
Listen,
it.
I've done it. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great, but you got like that's what it's there for.
it's not there to sneeze on it.
It kind of is.
But if you have to, it's
If you have to,
there.
I guess, but, like, Jesus.
It sucks. You can like
Yeah.
just
You-
swap out your mask after you like, but you do need to sneeze in
Yeah,
that
but
mask.
that's what I'm saying is, like, if you sneeze in it, you better swap it out right after, because Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of bacteria that
Yeah, that's
is
what
just
I
sitting
did.
there. Okay, good.
Yeah. You need your mask and you need your backup mask. Oh, you think you lost your backup mask? Guess what? Dex has got your back. You just found your backup mask in your back pocket. Why'd you put it there? You never put anything in your back pocket, but there it was.
Thank goodness for Dex.
I
It
know.
was
What would
Dex
we
for
do without
sure.
Dex?
But then as soon as you pull out your backup mask, some little fucking kid with their sticky ass fingers comes running over and grabs your mask, runs away with it, takes off.
I like the whole like dichotomy type of gods.
The relationship between those two specifically has me thinking.
Hmm. So who's this? Who's this character?
What do you mean?
This
yeah,
this
what
one
are they-
responsible
Oh,
for
yeah.
the small inconveniences in life. The assholery,
like-
intentional or otherwise.
Yeah, it's like it's assholery that doesn't have like too much of a impact right
Yeah.
away.
It's
but, like, if
inconsequential
everyone did
assholery.
it, yeah. For now.
Yeah. Butterfly effect
Like-
assholery, like small scale.
Stuff that if everyone did
Yes.
it, it would like ruin everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. These are the people that if there were too many of them, society would just crumble.
How about something on the play of MAGA?
Yeah.
Like,
Magara?
Magara? Magrius?
Magrius? Magara?
Mags.
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 I love it. Dex and
Mags.
Mags are just in this constant like war of like the soul of humanity.
Oh man, I really just feel like that's the answer.
Yeah. This is the start of a beautiful pantheon. Dex and Mags.
the god of the inconsequential assholery.
Yeah. Dex, the god of small maintenance and or no
Reliefs.
yeah, and small reliefs. Like maintenance and small maintenance and small reliefs, Dex. And Mags, the goddess of inconsequential assholes. Or inconsequential assholery, specifically.
Yes.
I love that.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever be able to stop thinking about this anymore.
I keep thinking of like, yeah, I know. I keep thinking of other gods, but like they all just come back to those two fundamental.
They pretty much kind of summarize like the human condition, huh? Like they're kind of just in
Oh,
there.
I know. It's like Dex and Mags are like the most powerful, and then they have like gods and
Ah.
things under them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like godlings of someone who's like, hey,
I mean, there's gotta be a Karen, right?
That's like one of the godlings. But
Karens
definitely.
are probably are inhabited by fragments of Mags like inner malice for humanity.
Yeah, Karens are doing Mag's work
Yeah.
every day.
They like-
tireless-
Are they like nymphs?
Yeah, they're kind of like nymphs of Mags. Yeah.
Oh man,
And
that's hard work. Somebody doesn't have to do it, but they do it.
They
would
definitely
totally
do
be
it.
fine if they just didn't, but I guess they feel like they gotta, but they really do not.
It's okay to take a day off.
Yeah, come on. Mags,
Treat yourself.
right now, Mags, can you get off my back? For real? I'm trying to buy groceries. Come on. Why is this lady screaming at the manager, Mags? Come on, what are you doing?
The manager has a lot going on in their personal life, and this just like kind of triggers
Yeah.
all of it at once.
And the manager, after getting yelled at by Mags's nymph Karen, goes into the back room and they're like, is like just the last slice of pie in like the what the fuck is it? The break room. It's like the last slice of pie, and they didn't even know it was there, but it's their favorite pie, and that's Dex.
Yeah.
Dex.
Dex is like, it's okay that you were almost late today. Like, you don't have to feel bad about it. There's seriously just a fat slice of key lime pie.
Yo.
It's vegan. Like, it's vegan.
This fat slice of vegan key lime pie is all yours. Like, you are getting down tonight, please. On me. On Dex.
Good things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Keep at it.
And Mags is like, as soon as they walk through that door, it's back on.
These are just like the gods of morale in a very convenient world. It's like where morale is just everything.
Yeah.
There's not all that much important work to be done. Just like keeping a good mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dex wants you to keep your head up, and Mags is like trying to get you down on yourself. Listen, everybody, don't let the Mags, don't let the godlings of Mags of the world get you down. Dex is looking out for you.
Yeah, he's got you. Man, that really speaks to me.
Yeah, so this was a perfect segment. I don't think we should do the rest of the podcast. I think we just hop off.
I disagree.
While we're
but...
ahead. Oh, you want to keep going? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, just to give you a little Dex in your life, we'll keep going.
Thank you.
This one, I honestly don't even like. We could really like just settle this real fast, but I really hope that we can talk about it for a little bit. Are clowns scary?
Terrifying.
I'm gonna say yes.
I don't know. I feel like they can be creepy.
I've never.
It's not like some clown on the street and I'm like, oh my god.
I've never seen a clown that I was scared of. Even like Pennywise. Even like clowns that are supposed to elicit a feeling of fear. I don't understand where does that like draw from. Like, this is a person who's gone through so much effort to put on this makeup, and like they're gonna go out into a world that hates them and try to make some people have a good time when it seems like all they can really deliver is bad times. And that is unfortunate. Like, they're trying to be like Dex's little helpers, but they're really just out here just sporting Magses, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I feel like it was basically it that made it so clowns were scary, right? Like they weren't like known to be scary before that.
I don't know. Can you,
Yeah.
Autumn and Erica, can you speak to this? Like, what is it? What is it about
Yeah,
clowns?
So uncomfortable. Like, it's so uncomfortable. I guess just sitting with that uncomfort is kind of scary in itself. Just staring at this face of a clown. The presence of a clown, I just don't want anything to do with it.
I second that.
Personally.
Wow.
I know my mom had this ceramic in the guest room that really freaked me out, and it was a plate that had a picture of a clown drying a little boy's tears.
Okay.
I feel like I don't know, I feel like
I know
Now,
exactly
okay.
what you're
context,
talking
it's a bit,
This is a different. Okay, I'm glad you said this because I wasn't even thinking about this. Clowns scary for me? No. Depictions of clowns always creepy. Always creepy.
about. Like clown dolls.
Yeah, clown paintings, clown dolls, anything like clown toys, anything that's like not a real clown, like an animated human clown or whatever. Like, I can handle that. Sure, like that's the thing that lives and moves and is a facade. but like a depiction of a clown feels like it is pure evil manifest, and it's just like occupying my space.
Like,
yeah,
we
they're
had
very
a-
invasive.
We had a clown at the farmer's market in our hometown because me and Erica and
Yeah.
Autumn
Yeah,
grew up in
I
the same
remember.
hometown.
I
And, like,
remember.
You never thought he was like scary, right? It was just
No, he was a nice dude.
Yeah.
like real life clowns aren't scary.
And that's what I mean. Like, people like harp on like real life clowns. They're like, real life clowns are scary, and I'm like, no, they're not. Like, real life clowns are pretty chill. I would imagine like you have got to be like a real like hero to do that. Like, to get up, put on this makeup, go out, try to make some goofs.
I feel
think-
like it's just like the cultural context has been warped because it was something that was already kind of vulnerable to ridicule. And like if you like it comes from people like trying to find normal everyday things and change the concept to being scary with like horror media.
Yeah. You know.
And sorry.
No. Yeah. Please continue.
Just like the idea of a man who, you know, spends his time in a mask entertaining children. It's a very like it's like
There's some like.
oh, we can exploit
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's some like old antiquated German folklore like scariness about that.
Absolutely.
It's also just like the manner that clowns like entertain children is very like abrasive.
Oh yeah, like
Yes.
I'm gonna squirt water in your face, like real, like unexpected, like you're not gonna like it, but it will make your friends laugh at you, and you'll never forget this moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking just now, like clowns are kind of like an everyday Santa Claus without gifts, or maybe they do, like they can bring you gifts, but they're just like balloons. But it's like the same vibe as if like Santa was hanging around every day.
The
I don't
gift
think
of
it is.
levity.
Really?
I don't think it is because like
So
I
imagine.
feel like Santa is like a jolly nice guy.
Right,
He's
right.
not like in your face trying to
So
like
yeah, like
fuck
so like
with you all the
imagine
time.
Santa, and he's like he knows that it's his job to bring the kids joy, right? But he doesn't have presents because the elves are all fucking off this year. But he's like he's got to make these kids happy. So what's Santa doing? He's getting flowers. He's putting water. He's putting devices in them to make them squirt water, and he's gonna squirt it in kids' faces because he's got nothing else. That's his whole bid. And I feel like that's what clowns are. They're
I don't like this.
Clowns are just an everyday Santa who's got no presents, so they gotta grind out that happiness somehow.
Jesus Christ.
So, like, I see what you're saying. It's like, clowns like keep kids in check. They're like, don't take yourself too seriously.
Okay, yeah.
I don't take myself seriously at all, clearly. It's like the gift of levity and just,
Right, yeah.
like, it's okay.
That's
But-
yeah, it's a very wholesome message. But
But in modern times, I feel like that's very lost. Like, I don't think there will ever be another clown at the farmer's market in Chico. Like, that's not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I
don't see
I
it.
did like your first little phrase of like clowns are here to keep kids in check. Like, I imagine like clowns that are like when parents can't deal with their kids, clowns pop out of the garbage can and are just like, hey, sit the fuck down. Or I'm gonna spray scalding hot water out of this this
Is
very
this scalding hot?
very
Jeez.
prickly rose that I'm gonna make you hold, and it's gonna spray scalding hot water in your face. That doesn't sound pleasant, does it? No. So sit down and let mom take a couple aspirin and recuperate, okay?
Yeah, just like I'm just picturing like a kid throwing a fit and just being difficult, and it's just a tense moment in public, and a clown just like starts fucking with them, and everyone's laughing at the kid.
Yeah.
And it's like
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
true justice.
But like this kid, okay, listen. Okay, yes. Trauma, right? But also humility, right? And a little bit of
Yeah,
like
exactly.
peace. It's like, yeah, sure, this kid is gonna have some unpleasant memories, but they're gonna realize the world does not revolve around them, and they're gonna grow up and realize, like, if I park like an asshole, a clown's gonna pop out of the trunk of my car and he's gonna lay hands on me.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's like people in the situation, like the parents, they're so stressed out, and like their identity is all caught up in the situation. But a clown can really let you know that if you're being an asshole, you can easily become the subject of ridicule.
You can easily become the subject of. Listen, kid, if you don't get your shit together, it is so easy for me to turn this situation into a bad situation for you. Like, it is the like flip of a switch. All right, kid. So I'm gonna need you to sit down before this gets real,
Yes.
real hairy up in here.
Like, you will be the joke.
Jesus.
I don't know.
I'm a
think it's-
clown, and I'm gonna make you the joke. You think that's gonna feel good? No. So get it together.
They're kind of like a false, like they're kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing in that way. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna laugh at me, but really,
Can we?
like,
Can we as a society reintegrate clowns and like give them jobs in like stores and parks and places where kids are the worst? And like, if you don't behave, I'm gonna call the clown over, and they're gonna make fun of you. And like, this is like clowns
I
and
think the world would be a better place.
right,
if that
yeah, like
happened.
we've got our clown population back up, and they're gainfully employed, and also parents have less, like, it's not stressful to think about taking your kid out into society, because, you know, once you get on the plane with your child, there's the captains, and there's the stewardess, and there's all the, you know, the sky guard and whatever, and there is the clown in the background. And they've got your back.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Clowns are a very important branch of society. No. There's a right and a wrong way to clown.
Yeah, that's what they have on their unionized T-shirts that they wear. The cards they hand to the kids after they give them a traumatic experience say that there's a right and a wrong way to clown.
Yeah, it brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, like, clowning around.
Yeah,
Like, don't
Like,
don't clown around right now. Self-check.
Like, it's not, I don't know, I made it sound really mean-spirited, but I feel like it would have to be like, do you ever get like called out when you're acting? I don't know, like Matt sometimes will like call me out in such a perfect way where I
That's
have to laugh at
good.
myself
Oh,
for
yeah.
being a dick. like the kid has to be smiling, but they're also like, okay, like,
yeah, like, you're getting me. I get it. I was being an asshole, but also, like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
getting me. You're riffing me pretty hard right now.
exactly.
Actually,
that
doing that
is
is a
missing.
work of art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kids don't
Learn
have
how to
that
do
naturally. Like,
correctly.
and it, like, as a parent, you don't want to be the one to have to do that to your kid, and, you know, kids' friends are just kids
Yeah.
as well. So, like, who you gonna call? It's clowns.
Wow. Profound.
suddenly being a parent doesn't sound as bad
Yeah,
Yeah, if you have clowns,
with
like
clowns.
in this.
No, I think it sounds a lot worse now to me.
Oh, really?
explain.
I don't want to fucking deal with clowns.
You're
All the
not dealing
time.
with the clowns. The clowns are dealing with your kids while you go.
I don't like the idea that my kid is having traumatic experiences and I'm just justifying it because
Okay, you do
of
have
the
a
good
you
message.
do have a whistle. You have a slide whistle that you blow if you don't want the clown. Like to call the clown off, like the clown's coming over, starts riffing your kid. You pull the slide whistle out. You go, and the clown knows to just chill.
The clown just unicycles away.
I like this.
juggling and unicycles away. Winks at the kid and just goes back to their corner.
Like, you might see me again, but like maybe not.
Yeah.
Actually, that would cause a lot of problems, I think, because people would see that there is some value in having clowns just around, and you know, clowns might want to work in a specific place in town, and other clowns also would want to be on that
Oh.
either that street
We're
or
gonna,
that corner.
yeah, and you're gonna have like clown
Maybe we
gangs that start
rotate.
to form, and they're gonna be
Oh my
called
God.
they're gonna be called a circus. Like they're not called gangs. It's called a circus. Today,
Jesus Christ.
circus violence is
Much
claimed.
more terrifying.
It seemed like the 56th Street clowns and the Red Street clowns wanted to hold down the same territory, and things got bloody. There's red noses and
I
big
think-
shoes all over the place.
You lost me at clown gangs. I'm just kind of done with this
No,
conjecture.
I'll turn. No. I'll turn. We'll go around the block one more time just so you can get this picture. I'm kidding.
It's very important.
So, in our new society, with this, where this is the purview of clowns, are they still scary? Do we like clowns now?
Why would we like clowns if they literally have clown gangs? Violent clown gangs.
Because
What
the
fuck?
purpose of these circuses, thank you, that is the formal terminology. The purpose of these circuses is to keep your kids in check, and it's to teach them humility and respect.
Oh man.
They're
I would
fighting.
imagine that
Think of
we
it
like
like this:
clowns.
they're fighting for the opportunity to better educate and give your children like life skills, like interpersonal skills. That is why that clown got mowed down in the street, is because they wanted to help your kid.
The means don't justify the ends.
I understand the instinctive not wanting clowns to be around your children.
Instinctive.
Hard coded into human DNA. Don't let clowns near your kids.
We all developed this instinct thousands and thousands and millions of years ago.
Thousands and thousands of millions.
Humans, when we evolving side by side with the clown species, did learn to keep their offspring from interacting with the clowns.
Just- oh man.
That is wonderful.
Don't feed the clowns.
Oh no, do we keep them in zoos? Oh god. Or is that
I think
just
we
a
do
sign
have
that's next to
modern-
their workstations, like don't feed the clowns, next to wherever they're sitting in the store?
Oh man.
The
These
only-
clowns need opinions.
The only reason it says that though is because they have a grocery store like discount card, so there's no reason for you to be going around giving donations. They're getting well paid. Don't feed the clowns.
They're fine. Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Treating them like they're fucking animals.
Now this is the rhetoric where I become a little afraid because I don't want to go into us shaping a society around the indentured servitude of clowns.
Yeah, cloud racism. Clown racism. Fuck.
Oh man. Protect the clowns.
Yeah.
But
Wow, we've
also don't
really
want them-
we've really jumped ship a couple times here from like are they scary or not to like they're really useful members of society to keep your kids away from them to protect the clowns.
You know, it's the most vulnerable members of society that do need protection. It's not always pretty.
They are extremely vulnerable. Their main form of transportation are small cars or unicycles, both of which can
Yeah.
be easily damaged.
Easily damaged, vandalized even.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised we haven't talked about the Joker even once at this point.
I was just thinking about that too.
I did not even think about him at all since, but he's not really a clown. Like the Joker's not really a clown.
But he is in the movie.
Absolutely is a clown.
In the new movie, yeah, he's a clown before he becomes the Joker, but the Joker, I do not associate him with clowns at all.
I'm thinking about the Joker, the movie, because that's like basically he was a clown and then he got like fucking people were an asshole to him because he was a clown.
Right. Right. But he did make kids happy in the hospital. That was a scene. It's like real society. He was just trying to bring joy to kids, and society that we live in pushed him out, and that's what we're doing to our clowns today. So it's really,
We really do live in a society.
I guess the final thing is kind of like it's a surprise that like we should be grateful that the clown community has not all become jokers on us. Thank you, clowns.
Thank you for your service, clowns. Nobody asked you, but you're there.
They're the anti-Karens. No one asked you to do this, but I guess you feel like you gotta.
So do they work under Mags or Dex?
They're
Oh.
they're like they're so like man, that's a tough one. I feel like did Dex make a mistake? Like he's like this is gonna bring a lot of happiness to the world, and then Mags just
Maybe they work together. Maybe it's like their child.
they're oh god. One night, Dex and Mags got a little drunk.
Oh my god.
Started clowning around, if you will.
Fuck.
I know we just made these gods up, but that feels very like blasphemous.
Yeah.
Consider.
It is heresy, and I am willing to like begin a crusade if you ever say these things again. Wow. Does that speak to like how we as humans are so easy to like fanaticize? And with that, I think that's a perfect segue into our next topic actually.
Thank God.
I want to talk about the human condition as like individualism versus cooperation. Like it is in us to agree with one another, and try to like support one another. So maybe that is what like has to do with why we're so easy to fanaticize. But like avoiding integration in modern society feels like a very difficult thing. There are pros and cons, I feel, and yeah, I just like. So, what do you guys think about like this in particular? Like, because I very much strongly like try to maintain individualism and try not to go like, I try not like to be with whatever the thing is that a lot of people are doing right now in this particular moment. Because I try to like maintain my status as like, you know, I'm gonna be myself.
Yeah, like not be too influenced by trends.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time understanding what you're trying to say by individualism. Because it seems like you're saying just like you're talking more about being different, like standing out. Whereas when I hear like individualism versus like community, I guess would I say the opposite? Or
Well,
how would you
okay.
say that?
I guess like if I were to put it in like the most poetic sense I could, it's like the fact that Apple's slogan is "Think Different." Apple,
Oh.
of all people, their slogan is "Think Different."
Yeah.
So it's like this is a community that's all about integrating as many people as they possibly can, and selling the message of think different. And I know this is your kryptonite, so I'm gonna employ it here. Is like every Game of Thrones fan who ever told you needed to watch the show.
No. Okay, listen. No, I was you're not going in the direction you thought I was going in.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking like individualism as in like only kind of caring about yourself and doing everything for yourself rather than for the community. Like that's what I think of immediately when you say that.
Oh no, I was more talking about like integration into like becoming part of the herd court sort of thing. Like there's like again, it's part of human nature to do that because we're stronger together and we know that implicitly, but also like in a world where like with social media and like just a bunch of ways of like communication that don't have to be that deep, like they can be extremely shallow. You can get roped into something that you wouldn't otherwise have if like it didn't seem like everybody, you know, quote unquote, everybody and their mom was doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Okay.
think that's linked at all? Like integrating, like if you integrate into a community, then you're more likely to do things for the community. Because I don't know. I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah,
a bit.
like so like if you grew up in a small town and like all the people there were like MAGA, like Trump supporters, you're almost like immediately integrated pretty much. And I feel like there's things online where like being a part of a community, you kind of are in a specific sphere. Like Twitter is kind of like this. Like something will start blowing up on Twitter and then everybody contributes to it, even when they like had nothing to say before. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit before in like our Lost episode. Unfortunately, that won't ever come out. It's just like now that everyone's doing it, it feels like this is the appropriate time for me to step in and take part.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a strong sense that I have to like stay true to my own identity, where I will be immediately, if something is so trendy that I can't escape it, where it's like talked about everywhere and it's new, there's definitely like an instinctive caution that I feel just like moving forward, like okay, depending on what it is. But like when you brought that up just now, I thought about like the black square, but
Mm-hmm.
I also think of like TikTok and like what else is like that?
I mean, like
Uh,
everything now,
Yeah, honestly.
which is why I think this is like important to think about. Is like it's so easy for us to get lost in the sauce, and
Yeah.
because like it's everybody else seems to be doing it around us, and what's the harm?
Yeah, or just like not wanting to be left out of conversations. Yeah. That's definitely something I used to think about a lot more, but just being I used to worry that like maybe I'll miss something important if I just fill my head with the same things that everybody else is thinking about. But then I started to feel like even if I have something important to say, if I don't know where other people are coming from in their lives, like the message might get lost, or like I won't know the best way to deliver the message. I don't know.
Yeah, because what you have to say, whatever the topic might be, like you want them to hear you and just hear what it means to you and maybe what it could mean to them. And it helps if you know their experience or their understanding, and it's
Yeah.
a good way to start to see or like try to see eye to eye about a topic and just communicate about it.
Yes. Yana, what do you think about that now that you have had some clarification on?
I guess I'm still having a bit of a problem, like, because, like, for instance, I think one of the root problems that I have with American culture is the individualism, because, yeah, for instance, this pandemic right now, the reason that people are not wearing their masks is because, like,
Yeah.
because the main like value that they have, the main value that's spread to be normalized is like to care about yourself, like protect yourself, do whatever for yourself, and kind of like screw everybody else. Like, you're number one in your life.
Which is funny because the mask is like honestly to protect others if you have the virus.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the mask, the reason that people are supposed to wear a mask is mainly to protect everybody else.
Right.
And that's why it's so hard in America, is because there's so much individualism.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I backwards understood what you said, but yeah. We're on the
Backwards.
Yeah. Not just misunderstood, completely was on the opposite side of the page. But yeah, we're good now.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like have not, I guess, being individualistic doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have your own self and like own qualities about yourself and own unique things, and it doesn't mean that you have to like everything that everybody else likes, but it just means that when you, like, your values are not inward, they're about caring for your community and like thinking about what's best for your community and not just for yourself.
Here, and I'm glad you say that, because like here is like the big hoax that like is sort of pervasive online, and like, okay, you'll say someone, for example, could say something on Twitter that is like fiercely individualistic, like it is extraordinarily interpersonal, or at least it comes off that way on the surface, right? But
Like, give an example.
oh man,
Just like an example tweet, doesn't have to be real.
right. Like someone just said something like that. It is to the effect of like speaking on their own behalf that has nothing to do with anybody. Like they're being blatantly like, screw what anybody else says about this particular topic. This is how I feel. Do you kind of get what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I think there's sometimes like a genuine moment like that where someone's like, I'm gonna speak out and say a thing that I feel online and whatever if I catch flack for it. But I think more often it's almost the opposite. It's like someone will say something that is like presented as like fiercely individualistic, but they already know or anticipate that they're gonna get a lot of support for saying it. Like, it seems like they present it as if it's going against the grain, but I don't know that they'd actually be saying it if they thought they really were saying something that was like only applicable to themselves, or that they didn't expect to get a lot of like likes and retweets, or like it, like I feel like that the motivation to come off as if you're being like all about you has shifted to actually towards like garnering a community through that practice.
The wheels are turning. I'm like, okay.
I just feel like there's a big difference to me between having opinions that are like other people and like doing like individualistic actions.
Mm.
Like, if like if there's a Trump supporter, they have like the same opinion as every other Trump supporter, whatever, and they stay in that community.
Yeah.
I see that they have, like, you know, the same interests as everybody else, and they're surrounding themselves with a certain community, but I still see them as individualistic in their actions.
Right.
Yeah. It's like their values are very individualistic, but like the way those values have been exploited has been,
It's like en masse.
yeah, it's like mob mentality.
Mm.
It's like a bunch of individualistic people are reinforcing each other's individualistic ideas.
They're like, I'm gonna go over here and rape the land of all its resources, and this other person's just like, yep, I'm gonna do the same, and we're both gonna be selfish, and that's the American way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, that really.
It's too close.
And they,
I don't think that's like, I don't think this is the direction you want to go in.
me?
Yeah, with the individualism, like
No,
you're talking about.
Listen, I'm all about this direction. Like, wherever we go, that's where we're going. And I think this is like an interesting conversation too. Of like, yeah, it's funny because the selfishness is only so like intense because it is widespread. It's like selfishness has become like synonymous with nationalism almost. Like that's the capitalist mentality, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
how we see it, but like they probably don't see it that way, right? Like
No, I
mean,
think they
I think
do,
they
because when
yeah.
they criticize the left,
yeah.
they say like, "Oh, you guys want grocery stores that only have one brand of everything," and like they want to spread the idea that like you need to like, you know, be different, you know, and like or like do what you want to do, and like that's the number one thing.
You
And they
need to
think, like,
you
that's
need to
important.
earn for you, and you need to become a billionaire out of the masses and rise above the rest of the sheep. But
Yeah.
like it's your
No, you're right.
you're entitled to that kind of a life, and then that mentality is widespread in this paradoxical scheme that is capitalism. And they're not
very,
the ones profiting from the scheme in the end, which is like the real kicker of the whole situation.
Real kicker. It's like the idea that, oh, you could be a billionaire too if you work hard enough, and then like that idea being spread to the working class people,
Yeah.
and them genuinely believing that.
And then not
Yeah.
profiting themselves from the
Yeah.
ideal. They're feeding someone else who already has like made that claim, like
Yeah.
already has that stake. It's
Just thinking of the TikTokers saying Bears.
Oh, the really disturbing. Yeah, it's ludicrous that in the entire notion, it's like, wow.
I sent this TikTok to Bears that is this basically like this, but it is this guy that like pretends he's like a little kid, and like he's talking like up at the camera, and he's like, "Oh, Daddy, I just want you to earn more." And he's like,
Yeah, he's like, please let me go back to work for you, Daddy. Like, I want you to make more money, and I'll work for the money. I don't care if like the pandemic's going on. I'll work and make you more money because I want you to be happy. But not if there's immigrants there though, because they're different. It's like a really yeah, but it's like a really good we'll call it satire. And not just dead accurate. We'll call it satire of the entire thing.
Yeah,
"Please,
put it-
Daddy, I want to work more."
Oh God. I so like fill in the blank at this point. Like whenever I hear stuff like that, there's so many ideas that get passed around those communities that just come to mind immediately that are so flawed.
Mm.
and like antisocial. Like, oh, stay away from me and my money that I'll probably never have.
Yeah, stay. Please keep please keep your socialism away from me and my theoretical riches.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
My hypothetical future as a billionaire is in jeopardy because of your concern with real world problems and your concern for myself. Can't you see
How dare you care for me and people like me?
I'll never start up my company that's gonna make me a billionaire while working here at Walmart if you keep trying to raise the minimum wage, please.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, it comes out of this like fear of like don't take something from me, but in reality it's like it's the complete opposite of that.
It's like the fear of losing something potentially on the smallest, like the smallest margin of potential is far, like for them, far outweighs the actual potential of getting like real value and monetary
Yeah.
value out of like a better system.
Yeah. Definitely. Man, I had this conversation with my dad, and I was just like, I think for a lot of people there's such a disconnect when thinking about such large numbers as trillions and billions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like
wait, did we talk about this?
us here on Low Stakes, no. But
Oh,
this is.
'cause I feel like I. Oh, okay.
It is like a real. Yeah, it's like a thing. Like it's for. I think we talked maybe about people who like play the lottery. I'm not sure, but like that's like a huge thing for like people who play the lottery. Is like, you tell them their chances are 1 in like 100 million, and they're like, sure, okay, I'll take those odds.
I think I remember saying last time how it would take 45,000
Yes.
years if you put $10,000 in
Oh,
savings every single day to get as
yes.
much as Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, yeah, and we talked about like how our income is closer to Elon Musk's than Elon
Yeah.
Musk's is to Jeff Bezos. Like yes,
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
That's what you
So-
talked about with your dad.
right, yeah.
That's what I wish I had brought up with my dad. I did not get a chance because I was being interrupted. But yeah, it's nobody. It's kind of part of the culture of like I'm strong and like you know I don't have limitations for myself. But you're trying to tell them that like no, it's scientifically proven that humans have a really hard time reasoning with numbers that big.
Yeah. Like our
Yeah.
mind just like is like, nope, tap out, sure, big number. Throw it up
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's the next level. It's
Yeah.
like video games. Like, no,
1,000 is a
not
big
quite.
number. 1,000,000 is a big number.
It's like
Trillion-
our mind goes from like, okay, I can comprehend 50 to being like at 51 it's like 51 that's a billion million whatever, I don't care. Big number. Circus says big number. It's up on the board.
Something that you're trying to take away from me,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather have a daily income of $200 or a 1% chance 1% chance every day, every 24 hours, 1% chance that you will wake up a millionaire?
The 1%.
Wait, $200 every day?
$200 daily income every day, or 1% chance that you'll wake up a millionaire every day.
The money every day.
Yeah, I'm not a gambler.
No, but
I-
wait. So if you hit it one time,
You're a
then
millionaire.
you're a millionaire forever?
Well, no, you just get $1 million. Let's just say that you just get $1 million. 1% chance that you get $1 million, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what you would want, Liana?
Yeah? I think so.
Mm.
Well, how long
It
would
would
it
take-
take?
5,000 5,000 days at $200 a day to get $1 million. And that's like,
How many
wait,
years?
how
is
many
that?
years is that? 500.
How many did you say?
5,000
5,000 days
to get $1 million.
It's 13 years.
Oh. Yeah, I would.
I'm not a
I would
gambler.
do
Like,
200.
that might take less than 100 days, and then I just have $1 million.
Yeah.
Sounds like a gambler.
But I'm not a gambler, I swear.
1%. Okay, 1% might be pretty high, but like to get it to actually like a level that is comparable to what we were talking about, I guess it would be more like 0.05% chance every day, like 0.005% chance. You know, like,
0.005.
yeah. Okay, and here's a funny thing is like I can completely say like I relate to this whole practice because like I used to play this game called Adventure Quest Worlds, and they would do these events where you can only get these specific items during this specific time period. And there was this one armor that looked really cool, but it was only it was either 0.2 or 0.5% chance that it would drop from this one area of enemies. And I spent 3 days, I think I want to say, just killing monsters in this one area, and I got the armor eventually. And I was like so happy, and I was like, yes, it's finally, I got it. And like I show it off and stuff like that. But it's like, that is, I don't know how many monsters I killed to get the armor, but it would have been very high. And I could have like not have just gotten it then. Like I could have just never gotten it. Like it's very like it is.
Yeah.
It's like a gamble. It's just like straight up like, yeah, this might not happen for you. And when it comes to things like people giving away millions of dollars through the lottery or whatever, it's like it's never gonna happen for you. Just keep buying our tickets.
So for me, the reason that I have that answer is that I value like something that's secure that I can rely on a
Yeah.
little bit more than money.
Consistency is king
Yes.
in life.
Like being able to plan is everything for me. Like it wasn't always, and that's one of the probably the biggest parts of my personality that changed in the past 5 years. Just like having a plan and like building off of something to make it better, make it work better with other things in my life. It's like that means more to me than $1 million.
And here's the thing, like, okay, in the theoretical sense, it's like, yeah, so you say you take the gamble, but if you actually imagine waking up every day with $200 on your desk, as opposed to waking up every day and there's not $1 million in your bank account, and you gotta go on, like, every day wondering, when is this day gonna come that I get this $1 million? Other than, like, besides just waking up every morning and there's $200. It's like, I feel like that's kind of the world we live in. It's like people are honestly going out and doing so much trying to become rich and break it big, and like their lives are miserable every day.
Yeah.
I guess I get that. I think my thinking is like, okay, probably like within the year I'll have enough money where I don't really have to worry about money anymore. So, like, I keep thinking when you say it like that, it's like, well, within the year I'm gonna get that money then. That's like 100% sure that I'm gonna get it within the year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like a gamble. It just feels like I'm waiting until the day that I get it, which won't be very long.
You're literally playing the lottery.
But that's not the lottery, though.
Okay. What if it was like this? $200 every day, or you pay $2 every day, and there's a 1% chance that you get $1 million.
No, I would not do that. Then 100% I would take the 200.
Okay.
Because there's nothing.
I mean, honestly, in terms of opportunity cost, you are losing $200. You're paying $200 every day. Wow, why did this switch to economics all of a sudden? You're paying $200 every day for the potential of getting $1 million. So, like, that's, in terms of opportunity cost, that is your loss.
Yeah, I can see that, but then, like, what are the chances? Because the lottery is literally impossible, whereas this is like a 1% or even 0.005 is like, okay, I'll probably get it within the year.
0.005 is pretty low. What about you, Erica? What's going on in your head?
I'm still pretty firm on like the guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because that's income that I'm not spending any time making. The amount of time that I would spend like trying to figure out like how to make the $1 million, like when is the $1 million coming, like I don't know, it's just like a pain in the ass. Like, yeah, I guess that's my weakness, is I value convenience over money.
Yeah.
I value consistency over everything.
Yeah.
If I know one thing in my life is going to be happening according to some cosmic law every day, I would absolutely take that.
But the way I'm thinking about it is like, oh cool, so probably within the year I'll be able to fucking afford a house and shit like that. Like it feels like something that I know, not something that I'm like, that might happen and I don't know.
Okay.
I guess. Does that make sense?
I think, Liana, like, you might have a better grasp on probability than I do, also, because you have a lot more experience, just math world.
I guess. I don't know.
But
also, and this is, I'll just say this last thing, like, I would definitely open a savings account that I could deposit $200 in every day. Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all, I'd be just getting the best credit. I would be making $200 purchases and just paying that shit right off. Yo, you could just game the system with this. Like, I could do more with $200 every day than you could do with $1 million. Like, just once. I feel like that's actually true.
But it's not just once, it's like once a year.
Who said anything about once a year? I said once.
Oh, is it once?
Yeah,
That's
it's
it?
once. Yeah, it's a 1% chance you'll wake up with $1 million, and that's it.
then absolutely.
Does that
Okay,
change
yeah.
things?
Yeah, because if I did the $200 every year, I would be a millionaire by like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Well, it would take
Autumn
you,
said it was like 13,
13.
right?
It'd take you 13 years, and like I mean, thinking right now how long it would take to make $1 million, like it's gonna, I don't know, it maybe like 25 years, like twice as long, and that's just like getting by, living life, like surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if
I
it's just
mean, $1
once,
million?
then I'm definitely going with the 200.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dope.
For some reason, I was also kind of thinking it was once a year.
I still would take the $200 if it was once a year.
I know. I'm not. I know it's more money, but it's still just like the way it's.
And then Liana takes it and it procs twice, back to back. She wakes up a millionaire, and the next morning she wakes up a millionaire again.
Happy for you, Liana.
Yeah, but I mean, it only procs once.
Me sitting
so.
with $400 in my bank account after those 2 days, I'm really happy for you. Me
It's
beginning
okay,
my
I'll
slow
support
climb
you.
through like credit and paying off. It's
I'll
like
be your sugar mom.
I'm really happy for you.
Fly me out to Europe.
Yes.
Coming to Scandinavia right now.
I'll fly all of you out here.
Yes, please. Sweden would be like the only place to take us, so I mean that would work out.
Yeah. The only place in the world that is doing as bad as the US.
Okay.
Yeah, 200.
Well, we have a little bit more time left, and I don't know if we'll be able to go through like this whole thing completely, but if we wanted to, we could do the topic you came up with, Erica.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna be in a wedding next June for some of our friends, and this morning, I went to get fitted for my bridesmaid dress, and it was expensive and seemed like it should be to me, given like what being purchased that I'm gonna wear one time. And, like, there's really limited options. It just felt like it just brought up a lot of feelings of like this industry is extremely flawed. So I wanted to talk about the wedding industry and the institution of marriage in general. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, I want to bring this point up because I think this is actually even more like aligned with my interests in this realm of conversation. Is like, do you guys watch Beam News at all, or are you familiar with?
No.
Unfamiliar.
Okay, well, they do deep dives on economics from time to time, and one of the economic phenomenons they were looking at is marriage among millennials and like divorce rates. And the divorce rate is going down, which is great, but it's actually in part because people aren't really getting married anymore. And yeah, I just thought that was interesting, so I wanted to know how you guys feel about all that.
Well, I think, like, when I grew up... Oh, that's... Sorry, I'm lagging a bit. Are you guys good now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, when I was growing up, I remember thinking, like, I just remember how glorified marriage was. Like, to the point where I legitimately thought, growing up, that, you know, I'm gonna get married maybe at, like, 20 or something, and
Yeah.
that on that day is, like, the most beautiful that I'll ever be. It's like I had, like, these things in my mind, like, yeah, on my wedding, it's gonna be, like, that's the most beautiful thing that I'll ever look in my life, and it's, like, as if it's,
Yeah.
like, this fucking, like, magical day. Like,
That is
Seriously.
like incredible. Like it's. I don't like. I'm exasperated. That's crazy.
did you guys, like, do
I
that as well?
I-
felt the same way.
I also felt that way.
Wow, this is crazy. I would never in a million years have guessed that was like how this was portrayed to like the young female perspective. That is insane. So, I can only speak for myself, but like I could say like for me it was like, okay, yeah, I recognize this is an important day. I'm like committing myself to someone supposedly for life, but I never understood why it always seemed to be more about like the woman than it was the man, because it was like it seems like this is supposed to be like equal, like we're both going into this thing that's like we're making this lifelong promise in front of our friends and family together. I never thought about it as being like this is a defining like day of my life more than it's just like me and another person defining as in like me and another person are agreeing to go down this road together, not like this oh look, this will be my most beautiful day. Like, wow, that's
I think as well there's a lot of things that like portrayed in movies and things like that put these really like fucked up and like weird like
Yeah.
ideas into our heads as child. Like
This is what I'm saying. Like, can we stop telling kids shit? Like, please.
Yeah.
stop telling them anything. Like, I always thought that you didn't know, like you had to decide at the altar whether you're gonna marry them or not. Like you didn't know before then. And it's like when you're at the altar, it's like, oh, okay, do I want to marry them or not? It's like you don't even know until that moment. Because all the time in movies, it's like, oh, actually, I can't, and then they like leave, you know. So you think that that's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
I feel like when people, at like growing up, like with marriage and everything, it's really just put on us like this is gonna be like a fundamental part of your life, like it's essential to a successful life. And you know, like I also feel like people might do it because they want to prove how serious they are with their relationship, but I feel like everything that a marriage, like, it has this image to be, like, you can have it without having the ceremony. Like, you don't need to have a wedding, per se, to experience what you think a marriage should be. Just being with someone.
Marriage.
I agree.
Marriage, in my eyes, like the really traditional kind of wedding, in my eyes, has over time, like, and the reason I'm against it, become like a sign of just massive indulgence and consumerism, which is like, I guess, like the entire reason we're talking about this is like, yeah, this industry thrives on your perception of like your worth almost kind of like coming
Yes.
through this day, like this one magical day. And I guess it's sort of like how I felt about prom. Like I completely skipped my high school prom because I was like, I don't
did?
care. Yeah, it was just me and my girlfriend just went and had a time. Just like we went to dinner with our friends, and then we just went home and hung out and like yeah,
I did
like
that for my junior year prom too.
yeah. We
I was
got-
like, I saw your prom picture.
yeah, no, like we got dressed up and like took pictures
Yeah.
with our friends and stuff like that, and then we went to dinner with them together, and then we like went home and hung out, and then we went to like a private dinner, just me and her, and like had like just a fun night together. Like it was just a cool night where like we knew everybody else was gonna be out doing this thing, and our parents wanted us to like at least embrace it and like recognize it as a special night. But like, no way are we going to this school and spending the entire night in this like party setting where it's like loud music and like a bunch of adults monitoring and like just this atmosphere that neither of us wanted to be a part of. So I kind of feel like marriage, or the wedding I should say, the ceremony is almost like that for adults. Like everybody wants to get involved, and sort of like your wedding is about them. And for me now, it's like marriage is really just like this promise. Like it's a really heartfelt, hopefully heartfelt agreement between two people.
Yeah.
I
That's a
think
good thing.
like another thing that Sweden does really well though, in my opinion, is that it's super normal here to not be married. Like people just live together and they have like a name for it. It's called sambo, and it just means that you live together. Like you're a couple that lives together. And like you can have kids and just like be sambo forever, and nobody's like, what? They're not married? It's just like normal. And I think
Wow.
that's
I
kinda
like
cool.
yeah, like even that is like that's fine. The only thing I like would, I don't know, for me being weird, like I have a thing about like a name to a thing, so like a concept makes it real. So like sambo,
Yeah.
like even that is just like if it's about like me and another person having this thing where it's like
Fair.
what, where it's like me and this person
Are
going
you saying that you like labels?
No, I don't like labels that are supposed to define me as an individual. Listen, why are you trying to Why are you trying to get me to look bad on this podcast? What is going on? No, is like just the concept of like people going into this thing together is like that to me is beautiful. So like it doesn't even have to be marriage like this putting on the rings of stuff or anything like that. It's just like give it a name and it's these two people's like their thing. Like every one of those should have their own name. Honestly, it's like our Sambo is this. It's like
Yeah, that's
Like,
a cool
it's-
idea.
yeah, it's supposed to be like this thing for like two people.
And it's not just like just for two people. It's like two very specific people together, and like
Yeah,
you know, their relationship isn't any or
Anything
isn't like
like-
any other relationship.
yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on
What a
like the
concept.
I really I want to go back to like the difference between how marriage is perceived by like young women and young men because that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally blown away right now, you guys. Honestly, my God, that is.
I feel
such,
good saying that out loud because I don't think I've ever talked about it, but it's like it was such a big thing. Like I legitimately thought
That is so
that I'd
wild.
magically be like the most beautiful that I'd ever be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally the most perfect day ever. Like just somehow.
like
the-
Holy shit! I feel like a hole like opening in my stomach where like my acid reflux is like triggering, like thinking
Yeah.
about like this day, this one day, like where you will be the best you will ever become is like oh my God, Jesus Christ, like.
It's
I-
a very sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Bears.
No,
like-
you please.
Instinctively, like especially when you said that, it just made me feel like I just saw all of these flashes of things that it just makes it feel like for so many years marriage like was the commodification of women. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
I am this thing that will be ripe for the harvest.
My God.
Really dark.
That's the parents looking at their daughter like you will be ripe for the harvested time.
I didn't
It
think
feels
about
like that. Like it felt when I think about how I felt as a child, thinking about myself and my self-worth, like it did feel like if I'm not like everything was telling me that if I'm not like beautiful for this moment in my life and if I don't like stay pure for this like situation that's coming, then I am not worth anything. Like it has so much less to do with like who you are and like more to do with your relationship to like oh god, I hate
The
I hate
higher-
even talking about this.
The higher cosmic dogma of the thing.
Yeah. And I don't like I'm not even against marriage at all. Like I want to get married, but like there is this really dark side that I think has gotten really twisted and has always been kind of twisted about like the commodification of young girls and women.
Jeez.
I never really thought about how the fact that we think that we're magically gonna be like the most beautiful person ever when we're a kid and just like grow up like that, and then like someday we realize that that doesn't just magically happen, and we have to make sure everything's perfect. We have to pay for like so many different services to make sure everything's perfect, and that's like it's like fucking it's just capitalism. Like we were ingrained to feel this way so that we would buy more. Like
Yes.
honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's sinister
Yeah.
to the core. That is insane.
Yeah, true.
I'm at a loss for words. And I can only say this, like, to the antithesis of it is like I was sitting here trying to think of like if there is something analogous to that for men. There may be one, and like I'm missing it, but for the life of me, I can't think of it. And I think almost like it's like men. We're almost like grow up with the ideal that like no day, like your worst day doesn't define you. Like every day is like a new day and you need to do something, make a move, and like try to capture land and women and money and things like that. Like every day is like a challenge that you're supposed to rise up to meet. And I'm like, I feel I'm like, that's every day for everybody, okay? Like, first of all, like, we all have, like, this challenge every day, but, like, as a guy, you're told, like, I don't know, you're the prime mover of your entire reality and everyone else's reality, as a matter of fact. Only if you're, like, the best of the best will you be worthy of anything.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because that just makes me feel even more validated that it's just like the sinister feelings I get when talking about the way that we saw marriage as children. It's like it just comes back to the thousands of years of
like,
culture that women were like for men.
And
like we existed for men. Like
we're honestly skipping over like the most like glaring but insipid part is like the ring. Like
that's what's been looming in my head. Is like, I want to talk about the ring.
It's like the
One ring.
like honestly, and it's funny. Like I can totally see this from two. Like I feel like, oh man, I wish we had the enlightenment thing because like I feel like my brain is like I'm transcending. Like I feel new wrinkles developing in my brain right now. Where it's like I can see this from like almost from like the male and the perspective side or female perspective. Jesus, I'm like stumbling with my words, just trying to get this out.
You're just so exasperated.
Yeah, it's like coming together. It's honestly diving into the Matrix. Like the ring is like the guy is like told you have to. The ring shows not only is not only a metric of what you measure her worth to be to you in relative terms, but also what you are able to provide for her and like what you're able to accomplish and like get in life in general. Like this ring reflects it's not even about like who you're giving it to. It's like the ring is that's what this day is about for you. Is like the size of the ring you gave her, because she's gonna show it to all her friends and she's gonna talk about it and she's gonna love it, and like you have to make this a great ring or else you have failed.
The pressure to like purchase your bride.
Yeah, like that's literally what it is. And like I almost, like, and from the female perspective, is it like you're told like the ring is how he sees you or something like that?
So,
Some might take it like that.
Yeah.
Like your worth or like the value of you, your relationship, or like, you know, some people might take it as that. Like I've heard some women say like, I would say no if someone proposed to me and like, you know, the ring wasn't what they wanted it
right.
to be.
Yeah, and like men hear that kind of thing too, is like if you don't give your girl a good ring, like she might not say yes.
I think I've had this idea like growing up, I guess, that it's almost just like it's just so self-centered. Like this idea that they would just know, like whoever I end up with is just gonna know exactly what I want and they're gonna get me exactly what I want. And it was never like a worry because I was just like, oh well, if it's the one, then they're gonna know exactly what's getting me. Like I don't have to worry.
And that pressure is on like the male side too. Is like if you have to give the thing that she's gonna love or else you failed.
Yeah, I can see that.
That feels very animal. Like, think about birds for a second.
Penguins!
yeah, penguins. Yeah.
Like the shiny thing that you brought me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like this shiny thing, so I like you. Yes.
So we're doing this.
I guess I like you.
And then there's never any more shiny thing after that. It's just like,
well,
there you go.
like so apparently there is like, you know, like, oh, if she's upset, buy her jewelry. If you love her, buy her jewelry. Jewelry every day. Jewelry if you love her.
If you fuck up.
Yeah, if you fuck up. If you did if you did good, buy her jewelry. If like
Your,
no,
your whole redemption arc.
yeah. Like every
Basically.
major accomplishment or pratfall has to be like is mendable with this lifeless rock.
Okay, I know this is like super unrelated to like the direction of this, but like also diamonds fucking kill people in Africa. So
No, it's not. It's like not even just a lifeless rock. It is a life-taking rock, and only by
Yeah.
getting the one that took the most lives do you get to show you're worthy.
Yeah, like men have died so that I could purchase you. Like,
Yeah. Do
It's
you like
fucked
that?
up.
You like that shit?
I hate that shit.
Yuck.
Disgusting.
I feel like
Yeah.
such a hipster. Like,
No, this
I
is
mean,
like
so-
In the end, like I do want, like I want to get married. I'm sure that's like from the shit that was ingrained in me through childhood. But like,
yeah. Wow.
Well, like going back to the birds, it's like, is it ingrained or is it just like kind of?
no, I don't mean like human nature, but like we were raised to think that marriage was like the most important thing.
Right. But I think
Yeah.
or Erica is saying like, is it a learned thing or is it just like part of like this? Well, it's interesting. Like, is the whole ritual of like giving a gift to show affection? I don't know so much that that's learned. I think it's like kids do that, and animals do that. Like your cat will bring you a
Yeah.
dead mouse or whatever. Your dog will. It's like, I like you.
Yeah.
Here's this thing.
Yeah.
What's like the evil part is like, if you want to show how much you like a person, spend thousands of dollars for this blood diamond.
Yeah, spend like 3 of your paychecks, like, or whatever it is that people make.
Yeah,
up.
what's the rule again?
Oh
I don't-
fuck! I
I
used to
don't
hear this all
know.
the time, but I don't even like. It's been consumed by the abyss of better morale in the back of my brain. Whatever the rule was, however many paychecks you have to save up to buy a ring.
However many paycheck. It's like some percent of your salary, isn't it?
I always heard it in terms of
It's- yeah.
paychecks.
Really?
Yeah.
But
like,
that
save
goes
up-
into like
I mean,
your
that could still be a
overall
percent.
salary.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a ridiculous percent of your salary. is
Yeah, it's
all I know.
crazy.
I
yeah,
just wish
it's pretty
that
messed up.
I just wish that as a small child, like I had been more in tune with like building myself up as
And-
like a something for myself and not as like a beautiful bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Definitely.
things, if I could go back and tell
Something.
myself things as a kid, the things I would say. Jesus Christ. First of all, ignore everyone. Anyone who says anything to you, don't listen. Just read a bunch of books.
Teacher, don't listen.
Yeah. No, honestly,
Be-
because you hear
The
this.
antisocial.
Yeah, like I heard this shit like all the time from everyone. Not just like about marriage, but just like a bunch of bad ideas that exist in my head and like became a part of who I was or who I am. It's like this stuff just gets. It's not a single source. Like it gets fed to you through.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a society. Like it's real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. And how much of your reality is built by like what the people around you tell you and then like the availability of information from like real experts like
Yeah.
being found in places that are not that. Yeah. Like I don't want to get too off topic, but like what you were saying earlier, Liana, about like being close, like sharing the same truths as the people in your social circle.
Mm.
Like, oh, I believe this because I've always believed this, and because the people I'm close to believe this, rather than like if it's actually been turned over and like the best of humankind has come together to like really figure out what's best for people. Like, man, that
Yeah.
that was actually further than than I wanted to get from what we were talking about. But like, yeah, I don't know. Just don't listen to. Take what people say with a grain of salt.
I have these little lessons that I try to write down for myself when I do introspection, like thinking about how I can better myself as a person and stuff like that. And one that I wrote down maybe a month ago now is just it says, I learned all the wrong lessons from everything I was ever told. And it's like, I truly believe that like I was told so many things that are just wrong about myself and how I should see not just other people but the world in general, just like nature. And it's like,
Yeah.
these things just, man, pull people so far off track from like who they would probably become naturally just by interacting with other people, like these institutions like marriage and like religion does this too. It's like there's a lot to this stuff, you guys. Just like I don't know how we're gonna pull ourselves out of the mud, but hopefully Low Stakes is a start.
One steak at a time.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna build a bridge one stake at a time.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, thank you for so much for joining us. This podcast was sponsored by Liana. Who's our podcast, or who's our sponsor this time around?
Sorry, let me check my notes. Not
Yeah, no
very
problem. No
organized.
problem. These guys, they paid us real big for this one.
Yeah, you wanna be specific.
Oh yeah. It was cactuses.
Cactuses. Cactuses?
Yep.
I guess they didn't. They probably cacti is like their rival. They just like didn't want to.
Well, cactuses is actually grammatically correct.
Whoa. Cactuses. Grammatically correct sponsoring our show? That's crazy, listener. You should probably listen to all the rest of these. We got sponsored by cactuses.
Wait, so is cacti not a word then?
I'm at a loss for words twice in this one podcast episode.
Look at the Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, huh?
You can. Cacti is a word. It's just that you can use cactuses as well.
Can you tell us a little about cactuses? What's the product? What the people?
Yeah. So, they don't need a lot of water. They can grow in pretty harsh conditions, and if you touch them, they fuck you up. And sometimes
So-
they can bear fruit. So they've got their pros and cons.
They can grow on a League of Legends server, for instance.
Yeah, they
That's
can
pretty
definitely
harsh
grow there.
conditions.
In toxic, a toxic environment. They can still thrive.
Okay, dope.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Inspiring.
cactuses, everyone, for the toxic person in you.
The man.
For the prickly guys out there.
Thank you for listening to Low Stakes. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.